This is the module on persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Here's a little quote from Mark Twain, which I actually found within the Best Health Journal. And it goes, quote, "If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first." End quote, Mark Twain. There's another resource I've looked at, which is a book entitled Willpower, Rediscovering Our Greatest Strength. And that is by Roy F. Baumeister and John Tierney. They did a lot of research into how to leverage willpower and the kind of problems that people had with it. And they used an interesting metaphor, which was that willpower was like a muscle. It takes energy to use willpower. Your willpower can deplete through the day. You just get tired, but you can also strengthen your willpower with use, but with effective use. I think it's worth noting that it's, for instance, if you are somebody who needs to be doing exercise and you've kind of set yourself up to go to the gym, it's entirely possible that you'll do better if you have a morning session before work rather than leaving it till after work, where you're less willpower, more tired, and other options may seem more attractive. And the same goes for healthy eating, and as opposed to snacks that are willpower depletes once we're back home, and that we may not actually go down the healthier route. We may just sort of slug and chomp snacks in front of your TV. And also, I guess, another little aspect that's worth noting is that it can be when you know you have to have a difficult conversation with somebody, it's probably easier to do that early, do it the first thing rather than leave it to the last thing when you're more tired and you don't have the resources to deal with that. So really, there are a few resources within Napoleon Hill's works, and one or two, not just in Think and Grow Rich, which I've pulled out for the action steps for this module, and they are, again, reading and listening to supplementary notes, reading and or listening to a piece by Napoleon Hill called "There Are 4 Simple Rules Which Lead to the Habit of Persistence." He had another piece described as "Persistence, Definite Causes," and another piece, "Symptoms of Lack of Persistence," which these are all from Think and Grow Rich. And there's another one that he used in another of his books, Golden Rules, but this was by a chap by the name of Edward E. Beals, and it was on habit. And that's a useful, it's a little, again, a little bit old-fashioned, the language that's used in that piece, but it's still worth it's worth paying attention to, I feel. And I've got another exercise from Vic Johnson, and that is the persistence test. And again, that's worth reading and doing. I've got a few notes that I've pulled out from John Maxwell's work on failing forward. There's a lot to do with failure that we tend to not think about, and I think our mindsets around failure do inform whether we attempt things or not. People that do achieve a lot fail a lot, and they recognise that, and it's almost like a joyful part of the experience. Well, maybe not quite, but whereas most of us, I think, try to avoid failure, and I think that's probably a lot to do with our education system, and speaking about the West, in terms of, we are expected to achieve constantly, and failure is something that should be abhorred. It doesn't recognise the power of failure and how it leads us into greater achievements, I feel. And also the last piece is to read the chapter from Think and Grow Rich about the power of mastermind. It's for the next module coming up.